Are you tired of SUV shopping anxiety and wondering which ones actually hold up after the warranty runs out? Hello everyone, this is Sully from CarlandTV. It's time to hop in the front seat because today I am going to give you a rundown of the most reliable SUVs as of June 2025 that have been rated by the likes of Consumer Reports to go the distance without having to mess you with out-of-nowhere repairs. Before I start, I would really appreciate it if you would push those buttons below. The subscribe button, the notification bell, all of them. This is not necessary, but those little clicks help a brother out. Plus, it pushes me to give you more valuable car-related content on your screen. Now buckle up and let's get back to the video. 2025 Mazda CX5. Mazda doesn't get the same reliability hype as Toyota or Honda, but the 2025 CX5. That thing deserves every bit of praise it's getting from Consumer Reports. I've taken this crossover on weekend road trips, daily errands, and a couple of mountain passes, and not once did it feel flimsy or unpredictable. The powertrain's rock solid. You get a 2.5-liter four-cylinder that's naturally aspirated in most trims, putting out 187 horsepower. It won't throw you back in your seat, but it's smooth and consistent. The turbo models step it up to 256 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque on premium fuel, and the 6-speed automatic they're paired with feels tuned just right. No slipping, no weird pauses, just clean shifts. Mazda's got this way of making their cabins feel like they belong in a class above. Inside the CX5, you're not dealing with shiny, cheap plastics. The dash has soft-touch materials, even real stitching on the upper trims like the Turbo Signature. The Carbon Edition gives you red leather and gloss black accents that somehow still hold up after months of abuse. The doors close with a satisfying thud. There's no creaking over speed bumps or under load. Everything feels tight, like it was bolted down with purpose. Its tech stays simple and reliable, too. That 10.3-inch screen isn't a touch screen, but I've had fewer issues with Mazda's rotary knob setup than I've had with laggy touchscreens in other brands. It's got wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and a layout that doesn't take 5 steps to change a radio station. Throw in standard all-wheel drive real-world mileage of around 28 miles per gallon and a price range from $30,000 up to $42,000 for the fully loaded Turbo Signature. And it's a no-brainer why this made the reliability list. Next up is a 3-row Toyota that's been crushing it with families and long haulers alike. The 2025 Highlander. 2025. Toyota. Highlander. Toyota has a long history of building family haulers that just don't quit, and the 2025 Highlander is a perfect example of that. I got to run one for a week straight, loaded up with gear passengers and a couple of highway runs mixed with daily grind traffic. It never felt out of breath. It never gave me a reason to second-guess it. The 2.4-liter turbocharged inline-4 under the hood pulls harder than the old V6, putting down 265 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. It's paired with an 8-speed automatic that doesn't hesitate or stumble even when climbing hills with a full load. What really stands out is how well this thing is put together. It rides on Toyota's TNGA-K platform, which feels like it was made for the long haul. You notice it in the way it handles potholes and rough pavement without feeling loose or floaty. The steering is light but precise, and the brake pedal feels firm without being too grabby. The materials on the cabin hold up better than most in this segment. The base L and LE trims come with well-padded cloth seats, while the XLE and up give you Softex, or full leather that doesn't fade or crack after a few hot summers. The layout is smart. Every button is where it should be, and nothing feels like an afterthought. The available 12.3-inch touchscreen runs smooth and wireless. Apple CarPlay and Android Auto are standard. There's also a digital gauge cluster on higher trims, plus a head-up display if you step into the Platinum. Storage is excellent. The second-row seats slide and recline, and the third row, while tight for adults, fold flat to open up 84.3 cubic feet of cargo space. Next, if you're into all-wheel drive traction and practical design in a more compact footprint, check the next SUV. 2025 Subaru Forester. The 2025 Subaru Forester might not be the flashiest SUV in the lineup, but it's one of the most dependable ones I've driven this year. I took one on a rainy weekend trip up the mountains and was reminded why this thing has such a loyal following. It's predictable in the best way. The 2.5-liter flat-4 under the hood makes 182 horsepower and 176 pound-feet of torque, and it's paired with a CVT that surprisingly doesn't feel lazy or disconnected. Acceleration isn't thrilling, but for daily use and light hauling, it's plenty. More importantly, the drivetrain doesn't whine, hesitate, or throw random codes. That kind of mechanical consistency is a big reason Consumer Reports keeps putting it on the reliability list. It is so damn stable. Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive is always active and keeps the Forester composed on wet pavement, dirt roads, and everything in between. The suspension has just the right give without getting too floaty, and the 8.7 inches of ground clearance lets you take it off the pavement without worrying about scraping something vital. Even on long drives, the ride stays smooth and surprisingly quiet for this segment. Subaru kept it practical for its cabin. The premium trim came with heated cloth seats, a huge panoramic moonroof, and solid plastics that felt ready to take a beating. The controls are simple. No touchscreen overload. Real buttons for climate knobs for volume, and a Starlink infotainment system that doesn't lag or crash. Visibility is one of its strongest suits. The upright glass and low belt line make it easy to see out of, which is rare these days. Starting around $29,000 and topping out near $39,000 for the touring trim, it's a solid long-term buy. If you're after something with a touch more driving personality without giving up dependability, see what the next SUV can do for you. 2025 Honda CR-V. For decades, this thing has been Honda's bread and butter, not because it's flashy, but because it just works. The magic starts with engines like the K24 2.4-liter inline-4 or the J-Series 3.5-liter V6. These are cast-iron block or aluminum designs that can take abuse, skip a few oil changes, and still fire up like nothing happened. They're chain-driven, not belt-driven, which eliminates a major maintenance cost. The transmissions, especially the older 5-speed automatics or manuals, are known to hold up past 200,000 miles easily. Interior-wise, it's not full luxe, but it's quality. Materials inside the CR-V are soft touch, where it counts buttons rarely fade, and the HVAC knobs are still functional after a decade of use. Suspension geometry is double wishbone on earlier models, later switching to McPherson up front for cost. But either way, the ride is smooth composed and relatively cheap to service. This car is built to take daily commutes, long road trips, or even a bit of spirited driving without breaking a sweat. The cabin is roomy for a mid-size sedan. The rear seats fold flat on many trims, and even entry-level models get power windows, cruise control, and rock-solid AC systems. Next up, 2025 Lexus RX. There's a reason the 2025 Lexus RX keeps showing up on Consumer Reports' most reliable SUV lists, and after spending a week with one, I get it. Lexus didn't just polish this thing up for looks. They engineered it to run clean, quiet, and practically bulletproof for years. Under the hood, you've got a 2.5-liter hybrid setup in the RX 350h or a turbocharged 2.4-liter in the RX 350, both paired with a smooth-shifting 8-speed automatic or a CVT in the hybrid. It's the kind of drivetrain that just fades into the background and does what it's supposed to, with no jerky shifts, no strange power dips, and definitely no warning lights popping up at 60,000 miles. What really impressed me was how the RX holds itself together over time. You can tell by the way the doors close and how the steering stays tight over rough pavement. Lexus uses sound-deadening materials throughout the cabin, and it pays off. No rattles, no wind noise, just peace and quiet. The interior materials are top shelf with soft leatherette on base trims and semi-aniline leather on the higher-end models. The dash is clean and trimmed in real metal accents, not cheap plastic, and is trying to look fancy. I am impressed by its 14-inch touchscreen. It's quick responsive, and finally ditches that old touchpad interface. You also get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto across the board, plus an available Mark Levinson 21-speaker system that turns the cabin into a rolling studio. And Safety Lexus loads this thing up with their Safety System Plus 3.0, including proactive driving assist lane tracing and advanced pedestrian detection. With prices starting around $51,000 and reaching into the mid-60s for the RX 500 HF Sport, you're paying for quality that sticks around. 2025 Toyota RAV4. The 2025 RAV4 doesn't look like much at first glance, but once I put a few hundred miles on one, it really started to make sense. It's not trying to be fast or flashy, and honestly, I respect that. The 2.5-liter four-cylinder under the hood might not win any drag races, but it's smooth, dead simple, and feels like it's built to take abuse. I drove it through city traffic, open highways, and a couple of sketchy gravel roads out near the hunting range, and it just kept its cool. No issues, no weird noises, no second-guessing the transmission. That 8-speed automatic shifts exactly when you want it to and holds steady on inclines. The interior is nothing fancy, but everything's where it should be. I had the limited trim with the Softex seats, and man, those held up great after a long weekend trip. Muddy gear, wet jackets, no stains, no smells. The rubberized climate knobs were a nice touch too. Felt like something out of an old Tacoma, just solid and meant to last. Toyota's Safety Sense tech didn't feel like it was fighting me either. Lane keep assist stayed subtle, and the adaptive cruise worked like a charm on the highway. What sold me, though, was how it just feels like it's made to outlast whatever you throw at it. That TNGA-K platform gives it a planted, no-nonsense ride. And with wireless CarPlay, a crisp 10.5-inch screen, and actual buttons, where you need them, there's not much to complain about. Starting at around $30,000, this thing is worth every penny.